Welcome everyone to Guy and Helmer, Unfiltered but Kinda Filtered. We are back this week. I'm your host Alex Summer. With me is my co-host as always, Guy Noel. And if you couldn't tell, this is the first show of October. Just look at our special guest shirt. We have today the creator of Real Talk Inc. It is Dave. Dave, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on. I felt like it's appropriate to throw this shirt on. We're in October. We're gonna watch a lot of horror movies this month, so very excited to be on.
Yeah, I just started my horror binge yesterday. I saw Final Destination for the first time.
So, and how awful was that?
Dude, it was so bad. It was so bad. I got kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer vibes, but
I actually like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I know. I had fun with that movie. This movie was like created just because of the kills. But anyways, just want to talk about that real quickly. But Guy, how are you doing today? I know you've been kind of under the weather over the last couple of weeks, a non-COVID related illness.
No, I don't have COVID. I was tested twice. Your grandparents are safe. No, but I'm fine now. A little, I have a little cough. I have a little phlegm in my chest still, but I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm not contagious anymore. I've recovered 98%.
Great, 98%. But as Jim Carrey says in Dumb and Dumber, there's still a chance. So let's get over to our new releases, or what's new are specifically the trailers that released over the last week. There were kind of three trailers that we want to talk about. Number one is the trailer for Licorice Pizza, the new Paul Thomas Anderson film starring Cooper Hoffman, who is Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, Bradley Cooper, Sean Penn, Maya Rudolph also probably make like 2-minute appearances in this film as well. But how are you feeling about this trailer? I'll start this off by saying I think I've watched this trailer about 10 to 15 times, specifically because David Bowie was playing in the background. Life on Mars is like perfect trailer music. So, and Paul Thomas Anderson in the 70s, filmmaking, just the concept of filmmaking in the film. I love the trailer. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I thought it was great. I think I'm a big PTA fan. So the first takeaway I took from the trailer that it looks like it's his most accessible film since Boogie Nights. It looks like it's going to be an audience-friendly film that you're not going to get an Inherent Vice type of reaction to this film. This is going to be something that it's going to be across the board. I think well received. A couple of things that I took from the trailer too is that if you've noticed in the lineup of the people starring in the film, Bradley Cooper is actually very low.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, because there's a rumor floating around that he's actually not in it that much. So it makes me wonder if he's actually not in it at all, like in terms of like maybe like 10-15 minutes tops. It could be one of those, we want to give you an Oscar, but we're gonna do like Judi Dench style and give you like an Oscar for like 8-9 minutes of work. But the movie as a whole, it looks like a great coming of age story. I'm very excited to see Cooper in his first role. Was a big fan of Philip Seymour Hoffman, so I'm very excited for it.
It's really, and I think it's just really, it's like kind of like something that would happen in a movie where basically, a star and a director who worked with each other so prolifically, and when one of them passes, the director, goes on to working with the guy's son. That's it's so great that PTA's decided to do that. And it's such a Hollywood kind of thing to do, like something you would only see in a movie. So I just think it's kind of an awesome behind the scenes aspect of the film.
And ironically, we're going to talk about another movie that a similar situation happened with the Many Saints of Newark.
Actually.
Yes.
Okay. So, Guy, Guy, what did you think of the trailer? Yep. We'll move on to Many Saints very soon.
Yes, which I'm very excited about. I really love this trailer. I love the vibe of this trailer. I'm really extremely excited for I just want to see I want to see him play John Peters. I don't know why. It's just something that I find really funny that Bradley Cooper is playing. And also just in general, the movie just looks awesome. It's like visually, I like the color grading and everything. It just looks like a cool movie. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, for sure. So let's move on to the next trailer. The next trailer we had was The Harder They Fall, a new Western that's coming out, an all-black cast, including Idris Elba, Regina King, Zazie Beetz. So what do you guys think of the trailer? I'm a huge fan of Westerns. I don't know what you guys think.
It looked awesome.
What were your thoughts when you saw this?
Looked awesome. It looked super cool. I thought it looked cool. I was like, it gave me a good vibe. Dave, go, because I'm... Just going.
No, I agree. It looks pretty damn awesome. And the cast is so incredible. Like it's just seeing Jonathan Majors exactly.
That's also
Jonathan Majors in any and everything right now. He is on such a hot streak. And then one thing I noticed, we're actually going to find out how good the movie is in the next maybe 3 days because it's premiering at the London Film Festival.
Very cool.
The reaction should be coming very soon.
It's fantastic. I'm like I'm very excited for this movie.
I am
too. The cast alone is just something that's like, oh, this is awesome. You have Idris Elba, Zazie B, Jonathan Majors. I can go on. It's just awesome.
Like again, like westerns. I love westerns. It's one of my favorite genres. Modern westerns are very hit or miss for me. Even the ones that are nominated for Oscars, like True Grit in 2010, like even that.
2%, sorry.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Like I'm not a fan of most of them, but this one looks at it. It has energy. It has color. It, the pacing looks really quick and cool. Tarantino-esque. Like editing. Stuff like that. So I'm very excited to see it. As we move on to the next trailer we got for Army of Thieves. This is a prequel about a character from Army of the Dead coming out in the same year that Army of the Dead came out. Yeah. Dave, go to your thoughts.
So anyone that knows me off the line knows that I'm not huge on Zack Snyder. So the fact he's not directing this and just producing it, we'll see what happens there. I didn't love Army of the Dead. If Army of the Dead was maybe like an hour and 40 minutes, I would have thought that the movie would have worked.
Sure.
But the fact that the movie was stretched out to 2 hours and 30 minutes makes me realize that Zack Snyder can't make a movie that's at least decent under 2 hours. Bankai style film, curious. I can't say I'm overly anticipating it at all, though.
I agree.
It's about the most annoying character in the movie. I hated him in Army of the Dead. Well, I basically didn't like any of the characters now that I think about it. But this character specifically, I'm like, could make a movie about Dave Bautista. Could make a movie about now I'm just forgetting everyone else. I don't know. You could make a movie about like the zombie kingdom that was established in the movie, whatever it was. But yeah, the fact that they're making a movie about this guy. I mean, but
it looked for me out of the 3 trailers.
It's weird that Netflix is going all in on, like, out of all the movies they could go all in on, it's Army of the Dead. Okay, sure.
I'm gonna guess because they can own this franchise, like literally own it. Netflix likes owning all their properties.
But anyways, now let's get on to the big stuff. I know Lucas in the comments, you're waiting for us to get to our what if thoughts. We'll get to that quickly, but first we have a big movie to talk about. Of course, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which we kind of kicked off this streak of October movies that we have on our hands. The big movie season is kind of kicked in high gear, and we've gotten Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Before we talk about the box office, we're going to get to that in the main topics. We're going to talk about the movie itself. I don't know if Guy's seen it, but I've
not seen it yet.
I've seen it, but the post-credit scene. I know it.
I want to see. Yes, I do. But I want to see it badly.
Dave, I'll get to you first. What did you think of Venom, Let There Be Carnage?
So it was a very weird Thursday for me. So I'm covering the New York Film Festival. So I saw 3 movies, including Venom, on Thursday, and such an array of different genres. So I saw The Velvet Underground at 10 o'clock in the morning. Then I saw The French Dispatch at 12 o'clock. And then I finished the day with Venom. So to say I saw an array of movies is crazy. But in terms of the movie itself, I liked it for what they were trying to do. It essentially, they know how dumb the first one was, and they decided to up it to 100. It's essentially a buddy cop comedy, which I kind of like the feel of that movie with Venom and Tom Hardy pretty much going back and forth the entire movie. So I actually dug that aspect of it. Am I going to say this is top tier anything? No, I am not. But am I going to say that the post-credit scene is top tier Marvel? Yes, I am. And we'll probably get into that in a little bit. I do, not relating to the movie, but I want to give props to Kevin Feige, Sony, and Disney for doing what they did without in the age of social media and everything leaking. That this did not leak, kudos, because that is the reaction in the theater was massive. Probably the best Marvel reaction we've had probably since the Portal scene in the Endgame.
I don't know. The one in Far From Home was the end credit scene of Far From Home. That was still the biggest reaction I've gotten.
That was the most game out of all the.
That was the first kind. I don't want to spoil anything.
Impact. Well, Far From Home was
Yeah, but
Yeah,
in terms of the film specifically, so I thought it was a good film. Like Dave said, it's a really fun movie. Like the first one, the relationship between Eddie and Venom is by far the best part of the film. I fell in love with Venom in this film. Oh my god, this character. I could watch him and Eddie in kind of, you don't even have to have any action, just like no killing. Just Eddie and Venom, like, I don't know, like going on a date with someone or something like that. Kind of like a Mrs. Doubtfire kind of date situation. Oh my god, that would be awesome. This pair, this is so awesome, guys. These two are so cool together. Venom is, dare I say, like kind of adorable at times. Like he's kind of like I just love the character so much. Tom Hardy went over the top, fit the tone of the film. The narrative is very simple. Clocks in at 90 minutes, and the narrative knows what it's doing. There's not really much plot. There's just like one kind of plot beat. There's not much to it, which is good. From like, I think I called Guy after I saw the film, and I said, this is basically like a comic book. Not a lot of plot. It's very simple. So in that aspect, it knows what it is. I did think some of the character motivations were very convoluted in terms of why Cletus Cassidy hates Eddie, why Carnage hates Venom, and why Screech hates this other character that I won't bring up.
So I'm going to say that Carnage doesn't, for the movie motive, not comic book or whatever. For the motive of the film, I think Carnage wants to eliminate Venom so he could be the only symbiote around.
Yeah,
that's like kind of the only thing I got from
that. Carnage. The character of Carnage, not Cletus Cassidy, specifically Carnage, was kind of disappointing for me. So if you know him from the comics, he's pretty brutal, and he is brutal in this film when it comes to his action. But his voice is very similar to Venom. The character doesn't have a lot of motivation, so I wasn't as enthralled with the characters I should have been. And I was kind of disappointed in that. Cletus Cassidy, on the other hand, was pretty good. Woody Harrelson did a good job. Again, motivation with him and Eddie Brock, that was what I was most confused about. I thought it was really, I don't know if Dave thought the same thing, but for me, it was very convoluted. And it seems like they skipped a lot over their relationship.
Yeah, when you're doing 90 minutes, you kind of you're taking the meat off the bone. But I'll say the best way to describe Woody Harrelson is he understood the assignment.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He did the best he could.
Yeah, for sure. Naomi Harris, did not like her in this film, sadly. I love her in I love her in 28 Days Later. I love her in the Bond movies. She totally fell flat for me in this one. She was quite bad. Like over the top in a really bad way. The character was really bad, especially when it gets to the third act. Her character just, I have no idea what, there was kind of a twist with it. I had no idea what they're trying to do there. And they had no time to develop her. So I don't know. Dave, what do you think of the character?
She felt, ironically, she's like a damsel in distress adjacent.
Yeah.
Like she pretty much was in a jail cell for about 75% of the movie type. So I thought for an actress of her stature, I thought they would have given her more to do.
Yeah, for sure. This movie should have been longer, but again, I like the movie. I would give it a positive review. I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10 or something. It's a good movie. I like it. Yep. So anyways, let's move on to The Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos sequel that came out on a simultaneous release in theaters and on HBO Max. Go to Guy on this one. Guy, what are your thoughts on the film? I know you're a big Sopranos fan.
I really liked it. Like I did. Dave, did you see it too?
Yes. I have a lot to say about it too.
Yeah. So. I enjoyed. Here's the thing. I really enjoyed it. Is it a perfect movie? No, it's not. And the reason why is because this should have been a miniseries. In my opinion, it's still like the characters, the acting is terrific in this movie. Right off the bat, Alessandra Nivola does, I feel, a great performance, and it has just really good ensemble. My one issue is that a lot of the ensemble cast, a lot of the crew and such, do not have a lot of space. Like there's not a lot of time. This is a 2-hour movie. It should have been longer, I feel, or should have been a miniseries. It should have just been broken down into a miniseries. And the ending, to me, I feel like it's okay. But I really like this movie. It's just the ending is like, Dave, I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so Sopranos, I think, is the greatest show of all time. I don't think anything. The closest thing to it is Breaking Bad. But nothing touches what, like the pressure that the Sopranos had to do what they were doing in an era where no one was doing that, and to succeed the way they did. Just it should be credited. Now, in terms of the movie, I dug the movie a lot. I will push back a little bit. While I think a limited series will be warranted now after the movie, because I want to see Michael Gandolfini play Tony again and see his rise. That's what I want as a limited series. Seeing Dickie's story, while it interested me to see, was Tony lying to Chrissy in the first episode of season 4 about who killed his dad.
Yes.
I was very curious to see if they were actually going to address that or leave it ambiguous.
That twist I liked. I like that twist in the movie.
I like that twist, and it may. Are we talking spoilers, or am I? I don't want to spoil anything. I haven't seen it
yet, so you can talk vaguely about the film.
Okay. We'll talk vaguely, but I enjoyed that. That made me laugh.
So you find out 100% who is responsible for Dickie's death, and I will say this: when you find out who is responsible,
it's funny.
If adult Tony knew who was responsible, that person wouldn't make it past season 1.
That person would not. And it's when I saw that it was this person, my jaw like dropped to the floor. Here. I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is insane. And it was so fun. It was actually really funny. And what's really messed up about it is that he most likely thought it was another character who did it, who you do not see in the Sopranos show. And there might be a reason why you do not see him in the Sopranos show. And so that's what I found so funny. I really loved the idea of bringing back these characters. That was something that I really enjoyed. It also is a beautiful looking movie.
Yes.
Like that movie was really like, I was watching it with my mom and we were just like, this is a nice looking movie.
And one of the things I took away too is the fact that we've had these movies that are based on shows come out. Like we have Entourage, we've had, I can't think of any other ones at the moment. We've had Sex in the City, and they've always felt like extended episodes of the series. This does not feel that way. It feels like from the voiceover in the beginning of the movie, you know that you're watching something different than The Sopranos. So I actually love that David Chase and Alan Taylor went in that direction because it just felt fresh, and I'm happy to be in that world again. No, they should do
something. I was glad because I was like, please, I didn't want it to be like the same.
And I did want to say, for anyone that hasn't seen it, Tony Soprano is in the whole movie. Michael Gandolfini is not in the whole movie. So prepare yourself for that. But in terms of him, like being a huge Soprano, I've rewatched the show 6 times in my life, so I can tell like little things. Something as simplistic as there's a scene where you first see Michael Gandolfini, and Guy, you'll probably know this. They're having dinner. And if you watch Soprano, Tony always does something with his hands in his food. And Michael Gandolfini does that in his probably second scene as Tony. And I'm like, he didn't have to do that, but just the fact that he did that was great.
Also, John Bernthal
was great. I thought he was great.
For the little he was in it was phenomenal. He was so funny.
I actually think I also really like Corey Stoll as Junior. The only one I didn't like was the John Margaro as Silvio. So
it was a bit too much. It was a bit too like I was kind of like Tony.
It felt like a satire. Like I was watching it on SNL.
Like that's how I felt about him. That was the one character where I was like, this is not. And I hate saying that, but it didn't feel as authentic as like the rest of the cast. It threw me off sometimes in the scenes.
Yep. Same here.
Ray Liotta. One last thing. Ray Liotta was very interesting in this movie.
Best performance in a long time for him. I thought he was very, very good.
Really I don't know. Those commercials that I see him on TV, those performances are great. But anyways, let's get on to our TV releases. The first one we're going to talk about is of course our weekly thought on What If. Episode 8 has just been released. Our relationship with What If has been very tumultuous. Guy mentioned how it was abusive at points watching What If.
Yes.
So I mean, it was weird. Like we've had the same. We've done this with the Bad Batch, where it was the first Disney animated series where he said, "quote unquote," he had an abusive relationship, and then he was like, okay, we're done with the Bad Batch, but What If now has kind of carried the mantle. But Guy, I will go to you first. What are your thoughts on What If?
I'm gonna be. This episode is better than a lot of the other episodes. I'm gonna say that, but I still didn't like it. I'm sorry, I can't like the show. It's not my fault. It's just it's put a lasting bad taste in my mouth. For God's sakes, Alex, it's just not my thing.
No, I'm not. I'll let you finish.
Here's the thing: Vision, Ultron, Thanos thing that looked cool. That did look very cool. I'll give them that. And it's just, to me, I didn't understand how the Watcher lost to like Ultron, Vision, Thanos. I didn't get that because it was kind of confused, because I thought the Watcher was like, all powerful. I didn't think they're Infinity Stones, but the Time Variance Authority, like those are like paperweights. So like I just was a little confused by the Watcher losing, and it was better than the other episodes. I can't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's not my fault. I can't appreciate things anymore after what they did.
So
with that Jake Paul Thor episode, it was too
painful. I have been on record saying that I really don't like this show at all. I think most of the shows aren't just like okay. Most of them are pretty terrible. Even like the quote unquote good ones are like the one with Hank Pym. But
that one had a good premise.
But was just this one
not well executed.
Again, I'm a man who can admit when he's wrong. Anyolo came on last episode with Sean, and he was like, and Anyolo loves this show, and he was like, he came on and he said, hey, like this Thor episode, even though I like the show, this episode is really bad.
Yeah.
Now it's my turn. As someone who hasn't liked the show at all, this episode was absolutely amazing, Guy. I absolutely loved it. I'm not gonna lie. This might burn your face off. This was the second best episode of any Marvel show that I've seen, to Loki episode 5, which was the second to last episode. This is the second best single episode that they've done at the end of the shows. I loved this. I ate this up. Some of the comedy hit for me. I loved the moment with Hawkeye and Black Widow, like the reverse moment. They brought Arnim Zola back. The Ultron stuff was really great. The voice was great. The visuals were on point. I loved kind of where they went with Ultron, like destroying the universe and then being like, what do I do now? Like, what's next? And then it's perfect.
Okay, that was cool.
Then he decides,
cool.
And he sees the Watcher. He sees the Watcher, and him and the Watcher duke it out. Oh my God, that was an amazing fight. I know what you're talking about, Guy. To address your concerns that you don't know how the Watcher, it's not just Ultron. It's not just Vision. It's both of them combined with the Infinity Stones.
I said like Ultron times Vision 3. Plus Thanos. Okay.
Yes,
I said
that. Yes, that's a ton. That's a ton, and it's one Watcher, right? There are, as we saw in Guardians 2, there are multiple Watchers, right? This is just one. So is it understandable that the Watcher would lose against this guy? Yes. The fight was awesome. I loved that he finally was seen by someone. It was a perfect kind of climax for the series. I love this episode. I cannot wait to see what they do for episode 9.
Or whatever.
So I just want to break the tie here. I liked it. But before I give you my thoughts, it's football Sunday. Alex, I need to know what alcoholic beverage you're drinking for you to say this is one of the best Marvel.
It's not.
It's
no. So, episodes.
I apologize. Yeah. So I thought it was solid. I will say this is the first time that I watch a What If episode that I feel there are actual stakes to the next episode. It didn't feel like a singular entity that you can just rinse and forget after. I hated the Thor one. So there's more that I disliked than like in the show. It's the first time that Marvel, the MCU for me, has consistently missed more than hit. So that's where I'm at on the show. How many episodes are left, to be honest? Is there one or two? There's one. So I guess, and Feige did say that there is an aspect of the show that will play into the actual live action stuff. So I'm guessing he's talking about this episode on the next one.
It could also be Doctor Strange.
True.
I had a theory about that in No Way Home, but but this episode, I cannot wait to see where they go to episode 2. Or episode 9, the
I would-
finale. There was that, I don't know if you saw that still of Vision Ultron when he's basically like eating the universe and he looks like Galactus. Did you see that picture?
I did not.
Oh my
I did
god, it's
not.
bad. It's a still from episode 9. I'm seeing a lot of theories online, like we might get Galactus, we might get Kang in the next episode. There are a whole bunch of stuff that it could.
I have not seen that. So okay, that does.
No, it's just like fan theories, but
yeah.
bringing Kang would like that would make a lot of sense.
I think Kang over
yeah, no, for sure, Galactus. Yeah,
I don't.
But
like we could.
But
that would be cool if we got Kang in the Kang suit. You know.
Yeah, for sure. And I can't wait to see where they go. Again, overall, even if episode 9 is amazing, I would still say that this series was a massive disappointment. I would still say it's a massive failure.
Yeah.
Because, if you only have these 2 episodes plus 3 with the Doctor Strange episode, 3 good episodes out of 9, and I have a 33% chance to go into a what if episode and have it be good, then yes, your show is a failure. So, but again, this episode
failure. I'm sorry, that was just funny the way you said that.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised by my math on that one. That was some of the, brought me back to calculus. But anyways, but this episode does give me hope for a season 2. This does give me hope that Marvel can actually, create a good, solid what if episode with a great premise.
I just wish this animation department in Marvel would just I don't know, bring back shows that people already wanted instead of making new shows.
Yeah.
That no one asked for. That's all. Like, I feel like Spectacular Spider-Man, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. There's like a list of really good animated shows that they have canceled in the last 10 years that I wish they brought back because they were better.
One thing I want to say before we end it, the Steve Rogers Easter egg, very cool. Very cool. I know did you guys catch that?
What was it? No.
Okay, now I'm gonna blow your minds here. So basically, when Ultron, maybe Luke in the comments, I don't know if you caught it as well. You can write in if you caught it. But when Ultron and the Watcher are fighting, they basically go through the multiverse. They're like fighting through the multiverse, and Ultron like hits him.
Oh yes, I did see that.
He
becomes
into
president,
a different universe. Yeah, Steve Rogers. They show him he's like taking the oath of office, and he's president.
Oh wait, I do remember that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. But anyways, let's move on to the next big TV show. We have Midnight Mass, which we briefly talked about last episode with Sean. However, at that point, the show had just come out. I only saw 1 episode, but that day I then proceeded to watch the six preceding episodes and finish the series. So it's safe to say that I love this show. Mike Flanagan is a modern day kind of horror Stephen King. I mean, I love Dr. Sleep more than most people. His ability to insert emotional stakes and emotional investment into his characters in his horror projects is second to none, in my opinion, at least for people, horror filmmakers right now. And this show, Dr. Sleep is a different conversation. I love that movie. If you want to talk to me about that, that's a separate conversation. I'd be going on all day about that. But this show, it made me think so much. The religious symbolism was very complex. It's not like it's a very objective stance. He shows you kind of positive, negatives, just a lot of really interesting thoughts on religion. The characters were great. The guy who plays the priest, I'm forgetting his name. He was amazing in the show. The guy who plays the sheriff was great. The crazy religious woman who I just wanted to, oh my God, that character. I know Dave probably feels the same. Everyone I'm talking to feels the same about this woman, but this show is amazing. The final 2 episodes are crazy, just batshit crazy, insane. It goes kind of malignant. Last 20 minutes of malignant crazy.
So good.
But I mean, I was enthralled by this. The twists and turns, again, Actually, I'm not going to mention that. It's a spoiler. But Dave, what did you think of the series?
So I have not finished the series because
Okay.
I've been so busy with the festivals. I did see the first episode.
Okay.
I'm a huge Mike Flanagan fan, all the way back to I believe Oculus was the first Mike Flanagan film that I saw back in 2013, and he shocked me with how good of a horror director he is. Then he did Hush. Then he did Ouija, which the first one sucked, and his version is really good. Then he directed Dr. Sleep, which is my favorite horror film since like 2000. Because The Shining is my number 3 favorite horror film of all time. And I love how Flanagan was able not just to bring in the emotional aspect of it, but also tribute King's work and Kubrick's work and blend it into such a perfect film for me. And both his Netflix shows have been fantastic. Haunting on Hill House and Bly Manor. But yeah, like I laughed when you said about The Malignant, because if that's what I'm gonna get in the last 2 episodes, I'm going to love everything about it. I will say, you mentioned he's like a modern day Stephen King. You mean in creating horror, not directing horror, right? Because Stephen King is a terrible director.
No, has he directed Christine, right? Is that the only?
No. Christine was directed by John Carpenter. Directed Christine.
Okay, John Carpenter.
He's only directed Maximum Overdrive. It's it's a fun watch. I'll say that.
But yeah, I highly recommend this. 7 episodes. It's a really short series, an hour per episode. You're not gonna regret it. It's pretty scary, but I mostly watched it because of the emotional stuff. It's a very emotional show. But anyways, we'll get on to the next topic. The last TV release I kind of wanted to talk about was The Morning Show. The first 2 episodes released. Did you guys see season 1?
I have not seen season 1. I just got.
Okay.
So
I want to hear what you guys say.
Yeah, so I saw season 1 and I saw it blind. I saw it a little bit after it came out. I waited for all the episodes to drop and I binged it. So I try to avoid spoilers. I did not expect the show to go in the direction that the first season went. You know, it was about this commentary on the Me Too movement and then on sexism in the workplace. And I dug, for the most part, season 1. There are aspects that, I didn't really like. Going into season 2, I was wondering what direction they were going to go in terms of, are they going to keep with the Me Too movement? Are they going to keep focus on Steve Carell's character? What they're doing. All right. We lived through COVID already. I don't need to go back to fucking January and start over again. Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and yes, we were fucking stupid. We didn't take it serious. I get it. But to go back to January and have these actors living in the now, knowing what we went through, to have these scenes of them just brushing COVID off.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit tone deaf, in my opinion.
Oh my God.
It's extremely irresponsible, but for some reason it's just shock TV garbage that I can't turn away, and I'm still watching every week.
No.
So they're doing their job. I just don't really like the show, but I'm still watching.
I love season 1. Season 2, it's breaking my heart.
Yeah.
It's really? So bad. Like so bad. Actually no, I'm kind of overstating it. So still performances are good.
Let's call it aggressively mediocre.
Yeah. No, I love you. I know you love using that term. Yeah. I've heard you use
aggressively mediocre. I love that.
But there's one scene where the reporter guy, or they're having dinner, and the reporter guy's like, hey, this COVID virus thing in China, it's sweeping through the country. You think we should give any airtime to it? And the lady turns to him and she says, we'll probably give it 1 minute. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh my God.
That I don't know why.
You like, my eyes were in the back of my head. I wanted to like shut my computer off and throw it through the window.
I don't know why, but that sincerely pissed me off.
I
was like, yo, you're
you
an
absolute
idiot.
Assholes.
And then in this, did you see episode 3 yet, Al?
No, I didn't even know it came out.
So there's a scene in this episode. It's not really spoiling anything. It is about COVID. This specific scene where the guy, I forgot his name, the reporter that's left to China at the end of the second episode to cover COVID.
Did he get COVID?
No, he didn't. But he's in China about to do his daily report, segment. And they cut his segment.
Oh.
So he gets into a shouting match over the phone, like yo, you send me over here to cover this and you cut my segment for what? So I will say this is the best episode of the 3 so far because it doesn't really focus that much on like COVID.
Yeah.
More on the Jennifer Aniston coming back, so on and so forth. But like, yeah, I'm with Al. This ain't it.
It's really melodramatic, really artificial. Even Billy Crudup, I love Billy Crudup in the first season. I think he got an Emmy for his performance. At least I know he's nominated. Second season, there's one monologue he makes in the first episode that's really, it's not authentic. It sounds artificial. It sounds like they're trying to come up with like the best, like most juicy quote possible, but not actually make it so that a human would actually say this thing. His character's really like weird, but not in a kind of like, oh, he's kind of like just like a weird kind of dude like he was in the first season. Second season, I don't even know the character anymore.
I dug him so much. He was my favorite character in the first season.
Yeah.
Because he played his card very well. Like he was a tweener.
Yeah.
He played both sides perfectly. I think what the writers are trying to do here, the showrunner, they're trying to make him the good guy, and that doesn't really work for what they established in the first season. And by the way, where's Bradley's accent? She had a southern accent in the first season. Where did that go?
I don't like the character this season.
I don't like her character at all.
I don't like
from even the first season.
Steve Carell, I will say he is great so far. I love the way they're going. Well, I love Steve Carell in general, so take this with a grain of salt. But he was amazing in the first season. His storyline in the second is by far the best part, at least from what I've seen.
I agree. It's very interesting, especially with something happens in this episode that I think is going to bring him back into the conversation of like outside of where he is right now.
Yeah.
So I want to
very interesting because of course, like the morning show is modeled after the Matt Lauer thing. And nobody knows where Matt Lauer is right now. This show is basically saying like, hey, what happened to Matt Lauer after he was fired from the Today Show? That's what they're doing with Steve Carell, which I find is very interesting.
So question, does this show, because like I haven't seen it yet, I'm going to be watching it soon when the season finishes up. Is this show basically every season focuses on like what's the big event in the world?
I don't know yet. I
don't know if you guys
about it. First season's Me Too, and now it's COVID. So I was like, oh,
it may be doing that. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this show. Have you guys ever seen the Newsroom, the Aaron Sorkin show?
Oh no, Jeff Daniels.
No,
I've heard of it.
Highly recommend it. First season is super strong. It only lasted 2 seasons, but that show tried to do that. It kind of tried to live in the world of like not just politics, but the current world topics. So I really dug that aspect of the Newsroom. I just don't. We've had enough of this COVID. Like, if I want to watch stuff about COVID, I'll put on.
That's why I'm excited.
No, and it would at least be a bit palatable if the show is made like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. But it's literally like while it's happening. So
it's essentially like I live in the New York area. It's essentially like as tasteful as if you made a 9/11 film or a documentary 6 or 7 months after 9/11. Yeah.
But I mean, this is why I'm excited for Curb Your Enthusiasm, because they had already announced we're not covering COVID in the new season. It's after. We're just.
That's why I hope Succession doesn't. I don't think they will, but just
doesn't seem like it from the trailer.
I haven't seen any masks. So.
But anyways, let's head on to our big story. So the first one we're going to talk about is that Boba Fett has gotten its first poster, even though it's not really a poster. It's basically like the last scene of the season 2 finale. And most importantly, a release date, December 29th. Guy, I'll head over to you. Are you excited for the Book of Boba Fett?
It's like a birthday present for me. My birthday is on the 26th. I'm so excited for this show. This is like, I've been waiting for some live action Star Wars content. I'm not going to say Star Wars content in general because Bad Batch. But I've been waiting for live action Star Wars content for a bit. And I'm hungry for it because the last season of The Mandalorian was awesome. So I'm like really, really excited to see what they do with Boba Fett. This is a character who has not really been explored live action wise. He has only had a few lines of dialogue before The Mandalorian. One of them was a shriek, and it was his death. So, like, I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I'm hoping they bring in more bounty hunters. I'm really hoping for Cad Bane. And I just, there's so many possibilities to where the show can go, and that's what's so exciting about it.
Dave, what are your thoughts?
I love Star Wars. That is literally my favorite film franchise of all time.
Yeah.
So I don't, I'm not one of those that hates the sequel trilogy. There are aspects I love, there are aspects I hate.
Same.
The Mandalorian season 1 and 2 have been perfect for me so far. It's exactly what I wanted from Disney when they bought Star Wars, to create new stories, not just focus on the Skywalkers. And yes, you could bring them in like they did at the end of season 2, but you're not putting 100% focus. Exactly. I've never been huge on Boba Fett, to be honest with you. I've always thought like, I've always thought like, outside of if we're looking in the context of just the film, not the EU, not the books and all that,
not the shows,
exactly, like just the film. I never understood the hype for him, because like you said, he has like 3 lines in 2 movies, and one of them
is a shriek
dying. Yes, he looks badass, but he actually is not badass from the aspect of the films.
Jango Fett's done more. Like,
it's great. And it's great to see him here in the Mandalorian, just as a grizzled. Everyone will give a pass as how he.
It's like a Frank Miller Boba Fett. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, it's like a Dark Knight Returns Boba Fett.
Yes, it's grizzled and ready to.
And then, just quick flashback. During our Star Wars CINEMAWARS, Agnolo said he's a DHL driver. So I think so. Yes, I agree with Dave on that point. But in the Mandalorian, again, they kind of redeemed him. I mean, his first action scene, just him in the show in general.
The knee rockets for years. I've been collecting those damn encyclopedias of Star Wars information, and they would always have that little label under Boba Fett's knees saying, "Those fire rockets." I'm like, I've never seen them fire. They did it in the show. They showed the knee rockets. I was like, they take my money. Take all my money. That was everything for me.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. We're going to talk about the Venom Let There Be Carnage box office. So news just came out. So Venom Let There Be Carnage just got $71 million weekend. Whoa. It is the second best. $71 million Friday, and that is the second best Friday opening during the pandemic, of course.
No, I think you're right the first time. So it's
71 million, 37 on Friday, 37 million on Friday, 71 during the weekend. Second best opening during the pandemic. I mean, I don't know about you. My theater was absolutely packed for this. Similar level to Shang-Chi for me. I was really surprised by that because I didn't know how the public was feeling about this movie. I didn't know if it was the same for Dave, but
mine was pretty decently packed for like a 4 o'clock show.
Okay.
I'll say this is like the little engine that could in the box office. I know it's a big franchise, but it's not the MCU, So and then with the post-credit scene, I suspect that the box office is going to hold very well with people wanting to go see it for the post-credit. Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, sorry, Guy, you can go ahead.
No, I think this makes sense. I think this is like, look, I earlier, a few episodes ago, I was criticizing what I saw of this movie, but I think people love Venom. Some people know who Carnage is, and I think like that's I think people would be excited for that. People love the Spider-Man character, and anything connected to it, they're gonna watch. I mean, Morbius, I'm not so sure, but this, I'm like really. Because no one's ever heard of Morbius.
When I was watching the movie, there was like this.
If you watch the 90s TV show or read a comic, you know who Morbius is. But if you have not, the odds are you do not know.
When I was watching the movie, there was this kid there. He was like 7 or 8 years old. And before the movie started, I'm like, oh, this kid's going to be scarred for life. This kid's going to, he's going to see his Carnage do some shit. And then when Carnage first shows up in the movie, kid's like, oh my God, that's Carnage. And he started like cheering him on when he was killing people. I was like, okay, if this is what it takes to get this movie, $37 million on a Friday, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm really happy for this. Sony, I feel like this is just a big win for theaters. Hopefully more
I'm happy
movies do the same. So.
And I see you're going to bring up another movie right now, Al, and that movie actually made $120 million overseas this weekend. So it is the highest grossing outside U.S. release post-COVID.
Yeah, of course, that movie is No Time to Die, which we're now going to talk about. The first reviews came in for No Time to Die. It's sitting right now at 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Whoa. It's dropped a bit. 70 on Metacritic also dropped a bit. Still great reviews. But I've seen some people mixed on it. I don't think Dave has seen it. I'm seeing it next Wednesday, so I'm a huge James Bond fan. I love James Bond. I've seen all the movies. I I'm so excited for this movie, not just because it's Daniel Craig's last Bond film, but because the cast is great. Rami Malek, Christoph Waltz is coming back. Trailers have been great. Hans Zimmer doing the score. Visuals look great. Cary Fukunaga, great director. What's not to love? So I'm really excited. The public seems to love this movie. Box office doing great. Dave, I'll go to you next.
Yeah, it sucks because I got a screening invite for 10 a.m. last Tuesday and I couldn't make it. The day the movie premiered.
Got it.
I was so upset about it. I'm super excited. I feel like I've been waiting for this movie for about 57 years. I will say, like, I'm a huge fan of the franchise. Craig, for me, is probably in a tier with Connery as the two best Bonds of all time. I don't think it's close. I think his films have had. I feel confident in saying that it's the only Bond series that has a full through narrative. From first film to last film, and I really like that aspect of it. Spectre doesn't work for me, and I don't really put Quantum of Solace. Like, there was a writer's strike, and that's why the film turned out the way it was. But in terms of this one, I am super excited. Everything Alex said, I'm like, I can't wait to see Craig's swan song.
Yeah, for sure.
I really like I like Daniel Craig as James Bond. I've watched I'd say I've not seen Solace, but I've seen the other ones, and I did like. Honestly, I liked Spectre. I did. I know, but I did like it. So. I liked it. And you know, I'm very excited to see this movie. Every time when I heard that this movie's coming, every time it says it's coming out, I think of that time when Craig was on SNL and he's like, due to some sicknesses, we can't release the movie. And for some reason, that's what is always going to make me think of this movie, is that this is the movie that, like, the first one that was axed, which is fine. I think but it just makes me feel so good that it's now coming out, because it makes me feel like, oh, things are really starting to get back to normal again. Because this movie that's been on the shelf for 2 years is finally, you know, I'm just so happy about that.
Yeah, for sure. So let's move on now.
Before we move on, quick question to both of you. This is Craig's last. You know, I'm going to ask, who do you want as the next James Bond?
Idris Elba. That's the only right answer for me.
So for me,
Mr. Bean.
I'm actually going to go with Daniel Kaluuya, because you can get him. You can get him for 4 or 5 movies.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, you're not a Daniel Kaluuya fan?
No, I love Daniel Kaluuya, but the man has like a strong Cockney accent. He's like, I'm not sure.
I think
he's not exact. When I see him, I'm not like, oof, this guy, you know, he's suave.
For me, the Idris train has left. We're not going to go an old James.
Oh, come on, he's not that old.
if this was 10 years ago and Craig left after Skyfall, then I say
How old is Idris Elba?
Skyfall was 10 years.
Because Daniel Craig right now is 53, so Idris Elba is 49. That is well within, you know, Bond range.
I would agree if it was only one movie, but if we're gonna do 5 movies with him, he's gonna be in his 60s and still playing Bond. So that's kind of why I disqualify him.
I guess that's true. Yeah. And so, I'm Daniel Kaluuya. Honestly, everyone's saying Richard Madden. I think he's like number 1 right now in terms of.
That's Rob Stark. I'm good.
No, I don't think so either. It's whatever happens. I'd say people are going to be unhappy. Yeah.
Honestly, if we're gonna stay generic British white guy, it's probably going to be Henry Cavill.
No. Yeah, Henry Cavill already did that basically in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. without the British accent, kind of.
Yeah. So, I want Mr. Bean as our new James Bond. I feel
also, like Henry Cavill's like
he fits the bill. He's a British guy.
He's already done that Johnny English. Come on, Henry Cavill's just a bit too buff. Like he looks like a bodybuilder. Like if he walked into a casino, everybody would know straight away there's something wrong with that dude. I'm not sure he would be the most sneaky Bond. Like, look at all the Bonds we've got. They're all not skinny, but they're all like, you know, they look like an everyday guy. But you know, gotcha. So anyways, let's move on to our final segment, buy or sell, in which we're going to go through all the smaller news topics that occurred over the week. We're going to talk about if we would buy that news or sell that news. Let's start off with the first piece of news that the Eternals director, Chloe Zhao, of course, directed Nomadland, as well, wants to make a Star Wars movie. Guy, buy or sell?
Buy. I think that's awesome. because I've seen the trailer for the Eternal. The trailer for Eternals looks pretty cool. And you know, I could see her tapping into a lot of like the kind of legendsy material, very much like the Wills and stuff, you know, Star Wars, like the really deep into the Force stuff. I could see her tapping into because she's doing Eternals. So I think this is cool. Bye.
Yeah, I buy this too. As long as she's directing Knights of the Old Republic, I
that would be even better.
You know what? I think I'm gonna get like bring this to the cashier and I'll say, hey, can you save this for me? Put it like in the back and save it for me until I come back in a couple of weeks. I'll see what she does what she does with Eternals, because I wasn't a fan of Nomadland, but I don't want to kind of write her off just because of that, because the Eternals is going to be a true test for her in terms of her ability to make it kind of a big blockbuster. So I'll ask the cashier to kind of put it in the back for me, save it for later. If she gives it to someone else at the store, I'm going to be really pissed if that thing ends up being good. So let's move on. And then I think, Luke, I just wanted to bring this up because I agree. She can do it instead of Patty Jenkins. Yes. Patty Jenkins is one of the most overrated directors working today. What she did with Wonder Woman 1984 is a travesty. Let's get over to the next piece of news. Cassian Andor, the new Star Wars, also another Star Wars live action show, has wrapped. Dave, buy or sell?
Sell.
Yeah,
I am not. If there's one person in Rogue One I hated, was Cassian Andor. I am completely out on this guy. This guy is a poor man's Han Solo. This guy is absolute hot garbage. And the fact that he got his own series is blasphemous. I'd rather have gotten a Jyn Erso prequel series and have to deal with Andor for like 10 episodes. This guy is this character, not Diego Luna, but this character is a fucking hack in the Star Wars universe.
That's why he needs a show to grow, to develop, damn it. He needs it. I think that's the thing. People think of him too much like Han Solo. This is the time where he can separate from that shadow. Maybe he can be his own character, you know?
Here's my thing, guy. When your droid has more charisma than you do in a movie, that's a problem.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong. But
I will say
he was played by Alan Tudyk, okay? Like, there's a reason.
I will say his character is kind of supposed to be a prick, but maybe he came off as just like, well, maybe that was the point, but also, I guess when they made Rogue One, they weren't planning on doing a spin-off show on him. So
and there's being a prick. There's being a prick. Han Solo is a complete jerk, but he's also a charismatic prick that you want to love.
And he's also a murderer. He murdered. Remember, he murdered that guy who gave him the information on the Imperials. Remember that in Rogue One? He killed that guy. Justice for guy in Rogue One who gave him the information. Hashtag justice for that guy. But would I rather them make a show on someone more interesting? Absolutely.
Yes.
Am I happy that we're getting more live action Star Wars content despite it's about a guy that I'm not the hugest fan of? Yes. I mean, I'm trying to think of an example of a recent show or movie where it was about it, like Black Widow, for example. I was not interested in a movie. Granted, Black Widow is a much more likable character than Cassian, but I was not interested. Actually, that's a bad example either, because Black Widow wasn't that good. Okay. That's never mind. That was a pretty bad example. But so I'll just move on from here. I don't want to talk myself into a corner. So Squid Game has become the #1 show on Netflix. Guys, Dave, have you checked out Squid Game yet?
I saw half of the first episode. I'm intrigued. I don't understand the craze yet, but I'm sure once I keep going, I'll see.
I've only heard the stories about this show.
I've never heard anything about. I honestly have never heard about this show. The only thing I've heard about with Netflix is that Seinfeld's on it and the aspect ratios shit. That's all I've heard. Man.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Guy. I know it's not on the agenda, but like I started watching Seinfeld because I had never seen the whole show.
I love Seinfeld. It's like my favorite.
And the aspect ratio on the first 2 episodes is some of the worst I've ever seen Netflix.
People are mad. Seinfeld fans are mad because it's
pretty
like
bad.
Cutting out jokes. Like they're cutting out visual jokes from what I've heard. That's all. And I'm a big Seinfeld fan. As someone who just loves seeing a bunch of characters talk about nothing, I can connect with that a lot. Yeah. And so like it's really special. Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows, and I'm very that disappointed me.
Squid Game, I don't even honestly, I haven't even looked at the synopsis. I've only heard like wacky, wild things about it. Yeah. So Let us know in the comments. Should I watch it? I don't know. But anyways, maybe I should watch it instead of Morning Show season 2. Let's head on to the next topic. Gladiator 2 is coming from Ridley Scott after he makes his Napoleon. Or actually, for Cassian Andor, are we selling it or buying it?
Selling.
I'm gonna buy it.
Buy
Maybe
it.
it's on sale.
It could be.
You're buying this. You're right now. You're buying the stock at about 25 cents. If the show is good, that stock will probably be worth about $1.25. So it's a good investment.
And then I can either buy. I can either buy or sell Squid Game. I haven't seen it. Dave, are you buying or selling Squid Game?
From the 30 minutes I saw, I guess I'll buy. But it's ridiculous from what I've seen.
I haven't seen it.
So let's get on to the next topic. Gladiator 2 coming from Ridley Scott. Of course, we have someone in the chat, Luke, who famously doesn't like Gladiator. Gladiator is one of my favorite films of all time. Oof. Dave has already expressed his thoughts.
Yeah. This I love Gladiator. What Al, can you help me? Did I miss something that this warrants a sequel?
Easy stuff for Patty.
Well, no, but what I'm seeing there is that Ridley Scott, he's nearing the end of his life. He's in his 80s. What I have a feeling he's doing is, hey, I don't have much directing time left. I'm going to direct all the movies I've wanted to direct for such a long time and just like bang them out. So we have Last Duel and House of Gucci this year. We're getting a Napoleon movie, which he's doing before Gladiator with Joaquin Phoenix, which I cannot wait for. And he's probably wanted to do that for a long time. And on his bucket list, apparently, is also Gladiator 2 about forgetting the character, Russell Crowe's son.
Did he
I'm gonna buy this.
Die? His son got killed.
Wait, so what's the show about?
I don't know. I don't know what.
His family died.
His whole family was killed.
Okay, no, I'm wrong. I've only seen Gladiator once, but okay, I have no idea what it's about then.
So here's my advice before we go to Guy. Can we just Ridley wants to make more movies? Can he make another good Alien movie? That would be fucking wonderful.
He's done. No,
so wonderful.
After Covenant, he's done.
Oh man, I just want him to get one more crack at it.
Like you want to see what's his name? Michael Fassbender's character.
Oh no, I want them to do like a Halloween 2018 and just eliminate everything after 2 and just do a sequel to Aliens and that's it.
Okay. Very interesting.
Better than Gladiator 2.
I mean, I'm going to buy this because I love Ridley Scott and I love the first Gladiator. And no matter what happens, it won't destroy the legacy of the original unless something goes wildly wrong. So I'll take it. Guy? Yeah. Okay, never mind. Let's get over to the next. Speaking of Halloween, Halloween Kills will shock and agitate fans, says Jamie.
Sorry. Okay.
We have a lot of stories like this. It was kind of a joke story where a star of this movie says this movie is good. Yeah, this is a flashback to Brie Larson.
Aquaman 2 going to be better than Aquaman 1.
Says Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who's in the movie. A lot of stories like this. Dave?
I spoke to someone. I saw this on the agenda, and I reached out to someone that saw it. It's gonna piss people off. I wouldn't say agitate. It's there's certain decisions that are made. And you could actually read the script online. That shit leaked like a year ago. I know I read the end of the film. I know how it ends. So I can say that it definitely will be pissing people off, but it does set up the last one very well. I think.
God, there's another one?
There's one more. It's a trilogy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting one more. We're getting one more next year, and then Gordon Green's doing his Exorcist trilogy.
Okay, great.
And listen, I'm wearing a Halloween 3 shirt, so I'm all in on anything Halloween. So I'm all in.
You know my thoughts on Halloween. I don't want to repeat myself. For the viewers at home, if you're watching this, you probably know my infamous take on Halloween. My most infamous take, the take that made me famous on the show.
Most blasphemous thing I've ever heard in my life.
No, yeah, even last week when we were off air, we told Sean Chandler, or Agnolo told Sean Chandler. Sean was like, "Oh," and then he was like leaving at the same time, and then Agnolo was like, "Hey, are you leaving because of Alex's take on Halloween?" But even he was like, "Oh."
Can I ask you something? Since you did that awful take on Halloween '78, you like Psycho? Do you like any movie?
I love
horror?
Psycho.
Okay,
love
just
Psycho.
making sure.
Just making. I know. I love horror.
Okay, cool.
And I'm trying to think of some slasher films that I love, like original slasher films.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I haven't seen the sequels of Nightmare on Elm Street yet, so I like the first Friday the 13th is my favorite one of the 5 I've seen.
Oh no, 6. Have you seen 6? Jason Lives?
No.
Oh, that's the best one out of the bunch, I think.
What are some other slasher films? I don't know.
Just the fact that you think Halloween 2018 is better than Halloween 7.
Hey, let's not repeat it for the fans at home.
Oh.
Everyone knows here.
Man.
I don't like Evil Dead either. I think Evil Dead is hot garbage.
I love Evil Dead.
And I don't like the second one either. And Army of Darkness is the best one out of the 3.
My God. Whew.
Okay, let's get on to the last piece of. Actually, no. I think that's gonna end it now. Folks, because
okay.
I was gonna talk about Purge 6, but I don't think first of all anyone wants to hear about Purge 6.
No.
Second of all, let's just talk about is Purge 6 happening? What do we think here?
Can you check the box office for the 5th one? Because that's the only reason I think we got a 5th one, because the box office for the 4th one. These movies cost
it came out during the pandemic, so even if I were to check, they would be very skewed.
These movies cost no money to make in the status, compared to like other big movies. So I wouldn't shock me if we get a 6th one. I don't particularly want it. But it wouldn't completely shock me if they say, let's get another one out there with how little it costs to make. They're always going to make money. That's why you always get them. Similar with like the Conjuring movies. They cost so little.
Yeah. And I just don't know where they go from here. Like they already tried Purge Anarchy, where it's like, no, the Purge isn't happening anymore. So it's basically theoretically just a bunch of people who want to kill other people. Like that. That's basically it. Like without the time limit thing, the time thing, that's what makes it interesting. They even did a Purge show, which I didn't see because it was on like TBS or something, or like channel.
It was on USA, yeah.
USA, yeah. So I mean, they've tried everything. I think next movie they're gonna do like 24 hours.
Because for
48 hours.
For me, you kind of nailed it. Like, what worked with the other 4 was the fact that it was in a self-contained 12 hours.
Yeah.
This one just felt like an action movie. It doesn't really. There's no stakes to it. So that's. But hey, if it makes money, they're gonna do another one. Yeah. I mean, we're getting another trilogy of The Exorcist for no apparent reason. So
I know you don't seem to be very happy about that one.
I know. What are they gonna do? Because if it's gonna be like here's gonna be the format. Seeing Al's history here, The Exorcist is gonna come out in about 2 years. It's going to be essentially a remake of the first one, and Al's gonna say it's better than the 1972 one.
I really like the first. That'll be difficult because I really like the original Exorcist movie. But I hope so. I'm not gonna write it off. I'm not gonna. It's possible. Anything's possible, But anyways, that is going to end the show here. Before we head off, Dave, where can everyone find you?
Yep, they can follow me at Real Talk Inc. And you can also follow us at Real Chronicles, where we have weekly podcasts. Thanks for having me on. I really had a great time.
No problem. The link for your Instagram will be down in the description below, so you all give him a follow. Guy, where can everyone find you?
Super
my pen out.
_ hero _ movie _ fan 77.
That's right, folks. And you can find me on the League of Cinephiles, of course, the channel Instagram. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Upcoming, we actually have a James Bond trivia match coming up on the 6th, so look out for that one.
Check that out.
Very fun match. It's going to come out soon on the 6th. We're going to be back to you next week. We also have, all sorts of stuff. A Fast and Furious CINEMAWARS coming up. We have, the Duos Film Trivia Class Championship, all that jazz. Make sure to tune in for those matches. Thank you for watching, everyone. See you next week, and ciao.
Ciao.